Welcome to CivilNet. My guest today via Skype from Istanbul is Nadire Mater. She is one of the founders of Bianet and a long-time human rights advocate, not only for human rights, for freedom of expression, press freedoms in Turkey. Nadire, thank you for joining us today.
I thank you. Hello, everybody.
As someone who has spent most of her life struggling for human rights, for freedom of expression in Turkey, please explain to me the phenomenon that's taking place today with last week Turkish citizens trying to commemorate the one-year anniversary of the Gezi Park riots that took place last year and was one of the largest protests in recent Turkish history. Tell me how things are progressing today in that realm.
Yeah, as you know, and most of the people who are interested in Turkey know what's happening in Turkey and what happened last year in Turkey. Actually, it was a long struggle and uprising, in my opinion. And it happened 80 provinces of Turkey. That means except one province. And it was started because of the trees who were cut by the municipality in 2013. And there was a small group in Gezi Park in Taksim Square in Istanbul. And they were just waiting and trying to protecting the trees and the park and the future of the park too. Because when I say future of the park, that means the government and namely Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan was planning and intending to make a different Taksim Square and Gezi Park. So all of a sudden, actually, nobody expected that something like this uprising was going to happen, but it happened in a way, and thousands of people gathered in Taksim Square, Gezi Park, and the other parts of Turkey, as I said before, and it was started for the trees, but at the same time, and in general, maybe it's better to say it, that it is a defense and protect their life and objecting the government's plans and implementations.
It's interesting because in the region, this seems to be a common practice where environmentalists begin protesting about an issue that is close to their heart, and yet it balloons into something that really is about transparent, accountable governance in the country. I want to talk about the ban that Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan placed on several social media outlets such as YouTube and Twitter. And just, I think yesterday, the Turkish Constitutional Court said that it was indeed unconstitutional, and the YouTube ban has now been lifted.
Yeah, after 6 or 7 days, actually. And, you know, the Constitutional Court has decided to make it open. And even this verdict, it happened, it took 5 days for the implementation.
It's interesting, you know, when we were in Turkey, we found ways to circumvent the ban. If you could perhaps explain to us the mindset of the Prime Minister or the ruling elite today in Turkey, did they really believe that by placing a ban on these outlets, on YouTube and Twitter, that they were going to be able to stifle or information or quell the protests, and were they successful?
I think, you know, this question, first of all, should be asked to the authorities, again, namely Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the Prime Minister. In general, you know, there are lots of ways. All of us know that, you know, to get through the to get through the YouTube or Twitter, you know, but still it affects because practically you can nobody can say that everybody can do this. Personally, I'm not bad in terms of technology, but still I need help to make it. But including the president, Abdullah Gül, you know, after the ban of the Twitter, had said that sent his tweets. So that means, you know, it was obvious, and it was obvious that you can get through. But still, you know, it's a kind of psychological struggle, in my opinion, you know. So he says something, and then he does something that what he wants. So it is important.
Okay, perhaps let me come at it from this point of view. By placing these bans, by placing restrictions on media freedoms, by complaining about foreign media in the country, we saw what happened with CNN reporter Ivan Watson when he was reporting live from Gezi on the one-year anniversary, how he was detained by police and later, I think in about half an hour, was then released. Or is Erdogan talking to his party faithful, to his constituency, to show them, see, this is what I can do. I have the power. I won in the regional municipal elections. With the upcoming presidential elections in August, is the constituency his target, or is it really to try and stop these protests? Because they could have come, he could have allowed them to come for one day and mark the anniversary and then move on with their lives.
You know, in my opinion, he thinks himself as everything in a way. For instance, he's an architect, so he has the right and he has the ability to plan the Taksim Square and Gezi Park. And what we call in Bianet, that he is the general chief editor of the whole media. So he's everything, and then he, for instance, the government, and he tries to interfere our lives, especially I'm talking about the woman, you know. It was 2 years ago, oh yes, yeah, 2 years ago, this abortion problem we had, you know. So, and then he decides, he gives somehow directions to the woman, you know, we have to it's better, or we have to have 3 children, something like that. So if I come to the media, now the media is, you know, is very, very polarized. And before last year, it was, you know, there were 7 newspapers, and sometimes they were, you know, using the same titles for the stories, something like that. And this, of course, this is coming from his personality, but especially what is more important, in my opinion, is that the structure of the media, the ownership problem. And so what's happening, since the media models, you know, have relations with the state concerning the loans, credits, and whatever it is. So they are trying not to have problems with the government. That's why, you know, they control. It is not difficult to control the media in general. Of course, there are always exceptions. And, but this is the first time in my journalistic life I can say that directly. He's calling the people in the, or the owner of the newspaper or television, directly he's talking and he's complaining, and he's telling what he wants. this is really very exceptional. Since 1 or 2 years, it's going on like that. And this, what does it mean concerning the rights of the people's getting news? You know, the self-censorship is getting stronger and stronger in Turkey. But still, news is news, and it is not possible to prevent everything, you know.
Right, right.
Especially with the help of the social media.
Sure. Press freedoms, I think, in the region, in both your country and our country, are always facing challenges. I want to return, if we can, as a final question about what took place last week at the one-year anniversary. We had our crew there, all of the subway lines, the roads, even ferries had come to a halt to prevent any mass protests. There were several injuries, scores of people were arrested and then later released, I believe. Where is this process going? How was it seen by those people, by those Turkish citizens who did want to go and simply commemorate the number of deaths that had taken place last year at the Gezi Uprising?
Yeah, it is not easy to say some concrete things about this. You know, during the Sunday protestations, you know, during the first year of the Gezi resistance, of course, you know, the participation was not too high, but it was very logical, because during the last week, the Istanbul governor and prime minister and some other authorities, you know, made statements, and they said they will do whatever they have to do, or they need to do, something like that. And so it was, for instance, for me, it wasn't easy, you know, to go there. I'm not sure how can I bear this gas and water cannon and plastic bullets. So it makes you think about twice or 3 times. And as a journalist, and you know, in Bianet, I was really getting afraid, and even, you know, it happened during the first of May, you know, just 1 month ago. I was thinking not to send any reporter and editor to the square, because, you know, I didn't want them, you know, to be faced anything. But we are journalists. And what they are doing what they are doing in general, you know, first they are attacking the journalists. For instance, when you come to the Bianet office, you can, you know, it's a kind of laboratory. There are, you know, casks, gas masks, and lots of things. You know, towel seats, some medical preparates in order to protect themselves. The reporters are always, you know, making them ready in the office. This is the first time in my life, you know, I'm seeing a news center, something like that. So, for instance, our reporters during the last one too, they were attacked, and then I was at home, and I was really wondering about them and all the other peoples. So, but still, on the other hand, the other part of Turkey, they managed, except big cities, to protest the government's policies in their small towns and everywhere. So it's very complicated. Turkey is a really very complicated country, you know. Everything is happening at the same time.
It certainly is a challenge to be a journalist anywhere in the world, especially in a country that is trying to suppress the freedoms and the access to information. I want to thank you, Nadire Mater, for joining us today via Skype from Istanbul to shed light on what took place during the one-year anniversary of the Gezi Uprising and the situation of press freedoms in the country.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for following us on CivilNet.